everybody. Hey guys. It's Dr. Naima Johnston-Bush from The Refreshing Life with Naima, where our goal is to help you to live a life of exuberant joy, powerful prayer, and sincere gratitude. We want you to have a refreshing life, and one of our key values in having a refreshing life is to pursue your God-given dreams. And it's real hard to pursue your God-given dreams if you're broke. Right? So one of the things that we focus on is learning to obtain financial freedom. And so my husband and I, we are on a quest to get out of debt. We don't believe that God wants us to be in debt. And there's just so much we want to do. And we can't do it with all the debt that we have. I went to school. When I say I'm a doctor, I do mean I'm a doctor. But I don't mean like I'm a medical doctor. I mean I have a PhD in education. And I didn't get it from the Cracker Jack box. I got it from Ohio State. Ohio State is very expensive. And so I owe them a lot of money. Sally Mae and I are not friends. So I've got thousands of dollars in student loan debt. And we also want to buy a house and we want to adopt some children. And so we've got a lot going on. And so through a lot of hard work and through a lot of prayer, we've got a plan. We've put that plan into action. And part of that is having a number of side hustles, what we call side hustles, to generate passive income. Some of our stuff is passive income. I sell books on Amazon, and I have Amazon t-shirts. I do merch, you know. And so that's more passive. But I also have an Etsy store because I love to sell vintage items. That's my hobby. That's my bliss. Of course, ministry first and foremost is my bliss, but being a thrifty girl is my other bliss. And so we've started a different channel to kind of document that journey. So this video is going to go up on that channel, but it's also going to be on my channel, and I'll put the link below to the new channel, because on the new channel we also talk about my husband's bow tie business and our junking, when we go out junking, and our flea market business, and just everything that we're doing to pay down our debt, you know, our journey to pay down our debt. So it's been a while, but I wanted to come to you with an Etsy haul. And yeah, so I'm going to jump right in and tell you about, oh my gosh, I was about to start hollering because that bag over there in the corner started moving, but the air conditioner came on. I was about to be like, ah! Which is odd because I have two little dogs and they show up in the weirdest places all the time. So it could have been one of them, but all I saw out of the corner of my eye was the bag start to move. Anyway, this past weekend, my husband and I went to Orlando. We don't live very far from Orlando. We went to Orlando for the weekend. I know y'all are probably like, didn't she just say she was trying to save money? Why did they go to Orlando? Well, we went to Orlando because when you're in full-time ministry, you travel the country, you rack up a lot of hotel points. And so we had some free La Quinta nights. So if you travel a lot, join your favorite hotel's frequent guest plan, because that adds up. We used to get free rooms at the Red Roof, but we hate the Red Roof now. So I wouldn't advocate anybody ever stay there. I can't stand them. But that's a whole nother story. I'm praying for them, but we always get terrible service at the Red Roof. But anyway, so the La Quinta is our hotel choice, even though it's a little bit more expensive, but we always have a good experience with them, and they're dog friendly. So we had these free nights at the La Quinta, and we didn't do anything super expensive. We had some coupons for $5 dinner at Sweet Tomatoes, which is a salad buffet. It's one of our favorite restaurants. So we had dinner at Sweet Tomatoes for $5 each. And we didn't eat anything super expensive. And we went to the park, and we went to the Disney Boardwalk, which most of the stuff out there is pretty cheap. You know, we just walked up and down the boardwalk and we went dancing. They have a place where you can dance to music from the 80s and 90s, which is our, you know, thing, because we were teenagers in the late 80s. I graduated from high school in 89, so 80s and 90s. And so we did that. Just had a good time. Went to the park, like I said, and they was having a dance recital. And what else did we do? Oh, the pool at the hotel. So, I mean, you can have a great time and still try to save money. That's all we did. We didn't go to Disney or do anything super, you know, expensive. But we did go to one estate sale because I had $10 marked for new inventory for my Etsy store. And we went to this estate sale. This house was so packed. I mean, it was the most packed house I'd ever seen. This woman collected shoes. She collected collector's plates. She collected dolls. She collected china. She collected figurines from Japan. Anything you could think. She collected birds. I mean, it was like you couldn't even move. And when we went, it was the third day of the sale, and everything was 50% off. And the house was still packed. They was trying to figure out if they were going to do a fourth day or not. But a lot of the stuff they had, because it was such high quality stuff, such collectible stuff, it was still really expensive, even at 50% off. And like I said, I had a budget. It was, what can I get for $10? And so I only got 2 things. But I'm happy with the 2 things I got. You know, one of the things that I'm learning when you shop for vintage items, the more you shop for vintage items, the better your eye gets. And so a lot of times you can look at something and you can kind of discern whether or not it's vintage without even having to do a lot of research. Now, I do get a dud once in a while, but nowhere near as much as I did when I first started this time last year. And so one of the things that I found was this little baby. So I found this little baby, and I think it's called, is it called Basque or Bisque? But it's porcelain, Basque or Bisque. And I looked at it, and I knew it was from the 50s or the 60s. But I couldn't really tell because underneath, they had their sticker on it. So it was $5, and it was 50% off, so it was $2.50. So I got home, I got the sticker off, and it has the original sticker on it. And if you can see, it's Napco from 1960. It's made in Japan. Napco made these little porcelain figurines and imported them to the Americas in the 60s. And so I was like, that was a good buy for $2.50. I found them online. They go anywhere from between $9 and $24.99, depending upon the pose and what it's doing and, you know, that kind of thing. So I am going to, did I say $2.50? I paid $3.50 for it. I'm going to start this at $16.99 in my Etsy shop because I just think she's adorable. The other thing I got from the estate sale was this miniature. And this is Mrs. P.F.E. Albee. She's an Amazon. Not like Wonder Woman Amazon. She's an Avon. She's an Avon collectible. And I guess they used to give these out as awards. The bigger ones, they gave them out as awards. And Mrs. P.F.E. Albee was actually a real person. She was like the mother of Avon or something. She went door to door and sold perfume. I don't know the exact specifics, but that would make a real good Lifetime movie. If you're watching Lifetime, that'd make a good. I'd be interested in that. But this is a miniature. It's from 1993, and that woman had. I mean, there must have been 20 of these. One for every year for like 30 years. I don't even know, but I paid $2.50 for this. It was, like I said, 50% off. And I saw them selling online these little miniature ones for between $9.99. And it's small, see? Between $9.99 and $18. Which I think $18.99 is a little high. They also have bigger ones. And so I'm going to put this up at $14.99. Because I always think that somewhere there's somebody who's collecting them or remember their grandmother had one and they wish they had one. And so, you know, they're interested in picking that up. So those are the 2 items that I got from the estate sale. Now, a couple of weeks ago, my husband and I went to close our booth. Wah, wah, wah. I'm going to do a whole video on what I quit. Because, you know, part of this whole thing about getting out of debt is finding the things that, 1, you enjoy. And 2, you really feel like you are making good progress in. And the first couple of months at the antique booth, I did really well. November, I did well. December, I did well. January, I did okay. February, I did awful. I only made like $17 in February. And March was terrible. April was good because, no, were we out of there by April? Yeah. March was good because everything was 50%. So everything was 50% off. So I made the decision when we had 2 months in a row where we didn't even make the rent. I made the decision to shut it down. And I made that decision based on a couple of things, because 2 months really isn't enough to really shut something down if you are negative, because you really need to give things a better chance. But the reasons why I shut it down is because, one, we had a really small booth. The booth was $40 a month, and it really was just a bookshelf. And the bookshelf was down a corridor, so it was a corridor lined with bookshelves. And so you couldn't see anything that was on the bottom two shelves. So it was like wasted space. And then the corridors were so small that if you were coming from one direction and somebody was coming from the other direction, you had to turn sideways to pass them. That's how packed this place was. And there was like 100 vendors in there. And I don't think the problem was that there was 100 vendors. The problem was the hallways were so small that it really was not conducive to people stopping and shopping. And so I was like, this is ridiculous. You know, it would take us forever to go in there and set up, because you had to go and set up during open hours. And you'd be jumping into somebody's booth, because they had bigger booths, and those booths seemed to do well because you could walk into those booths and look around. But the ones on the side, the funny thing is, the person on either side of me both closed. And then I had a friend who was 2 booths down that I had met when I moved in, and she had closed too. And they were already replaced by the time I left. So there was a lot of turnover, and I also think that I didn't have enough of the right stuff, because when I originally started the booth, I started it with some items from I had planned to put on Etsy, but they were going to be too much to pack or too heavy to ship, or I couldn't take a good picture of it because of the angles, and I was just starting out. So some of that stuff went in there. And then the other things that went in there were what I call my duds. Things that I had purchased that I originally thought were vintage, and then they weren't vintage. And those things were not selling. The things around me that were selling were really expensive types of things. They were either highly unique or really expensive. And the things that I buy, the things that I specialize in, are really like figurines, cups, like memorabilia from the 80s, 90s. I guess because, you know, that's what I know. I know Care Bears. I know Holly Hobby. I know, you know, McDonald's toys. I know things like that. And so those were the things that I sell a lot of. I sell a lot of that. I sell a lot of figurines. I sell a lot of odd little ends that I come across. I sell a lot of that kind of stuff too. Candle holders and trinket boxes, and those are the things that I sell. And I sell a lot of jewelry. I sell a lot of brooches, and it's real hard to display brooches, you know, in an antique place like that. And I couldn't lock this stuff up, and a couple of my things walked off, and that was so not cool. And nobody really was overly concerned about where my stuff had walked off to. And so I guess I can write those things off. I lost probably three or four things. A pair of vintage glasses walked off, which I thought was real odd. Why would you walk off with a pair, unless it was something, because I thought it was a dud. It might have been something and I didn't recognize what it really was, because it was one of the first things that I bought. But those vintage glasses walked off, and they left. I had a pair of Steve Maddens. They left those, but they took these vintage glasses, and I had some elephant jewelry, and that walked off. And so that was just kind of frustrating. So we closed the booth and brought all that stuff home. We also go to the flea market once a month, where my husband sells, you know, the things that he refurbishes. And so some of that stuff will go to the booth. I mean, we'll go to the flea market. We're going this weekend. Some of that stuff will go to the flea market, and we'll sell it there. And then the rest of that stuff, some of that stuff we're just going to donate. And then I pulled out a lot of that stuff, and I started listing it on Etsy. And some of it is sold since I've listed it on Etsy. That's been kind of funny. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. So anyway, when we went over to go to the booth, we stopped at a couple of garage sales looking for some different inventory for the Etsy store, because we're still trying to get up to about 200 items. And I think I have about 105 items. Every time I get about 105 items, I sell a bunch of stuff and then I'm back down. So, which is a good problem to have, but I think my numbers will increase if I have more items in my store. And I'm trying to find some different things, some things that, you know, I always, like I said, gravitate towards the same kind of things, which, you know, I'm looking over here in the corner of my eye at my haul, and it is exactly the things that I was just telling you guys about. And so we stopped at this one garage sale, and everything that I'm about to show you cost $11. That was what I spent on this total haul. And so I will show you. Now, one of the things I said was Holly Hobby, right? I'm all about that. I'm all about that Holly. No trouble, right? So I found this Holly Hobby mug, right? And it says, happy times are remembered long after they're gone. And it's from the 1990s. Made in Japan. Oh, I need glasses. 1990s or late 1980s. I do really well with Holly Hobby. I've had 5 Holly Hobby. This will be my 5th Holly Hobby item that I will be placing in my shop. And I've sold 3, and I have 1 in my shop right now. I sold a set of Holly Hobby mugs. I had 2 Holly Hobby mugs, and I sold those. And I had a Holly Hobby handleless mug, and I sold that. And right now in my shop, I have a Holly Hobby heart-shaped trinket box. And then I'll add this mug to it. The funny thing is, I don't remember this at all from when I was a little girl. As a matter of fact, I didn't even have a Holly Hobby doll. My cousin did, but I didn't have one. But I did have a Holly Hobby canopy bed that I used to put my babies to sleep in at night when I was a little girl. So I'm going to put that up at $7.99. And because I've seen them selling a set of 4 for $24, and I've seen one going for $6.99. Like I said, I sold a set of 2 for $14.99. So I'm going to start it at $7.99, and we'll see what it does. The next thing I got, remember I said I was trying to find some things that were unusual. I came across a Margaret Keane, and I at the flea market about 2 months ago. It was all dirty and yucky, and my husband's like, I'm gonna clean it up so you know you can post it up in Etsy, on your Etsy shop. And so I went out one day and I came back, he had cleaned it all up. And then why did the dude hang it up? He hung it up on the wall. And now I can't bear to take it down and part with it, because it reminds me of my grandmother, because my grandmother had one. I can't bear to take it down. I love it. So, oh well, missed out on that sale, but only cost us $3. And those things are selling for like $49.99, $39.99. It's framed and everything is gorgeous, but I can't do it. I can't do it. So I found this little miniature. It's on 23 karat gold leaf. I don't know if you can see the reflection, but it is, let me see if I can get it right. Lambert of, it might help if I put it up here, right? Lambert of London, and it's Buckingham Palace with the Royal Guard. I was calling them beef eaters earlier, but those are not beef eaters. Beef eaters guard the Tower of London. The ones with the big hats, they're the Queen's Guard. So, yeah, so it's a miniature, and I was looking for a price, and I couldn't find a price, and then I finally found one that had been sold. I found 2 that had been sold on Etsy, and what did I do? Because they had been sold, and I had no idea what it was worth. I highlighted the listing, and I went over to flippertools.com, and I put the listing into Flipper Tools, and it told me that this had sold for $22. And so, and then a set of 2, this and another one, had sold for $25. And so I'm going to put this up for $18.99, and we'll see how that does. Now, remember I said I was a child of, you know, the 80s and 90s. I was in high school in the late 80s. I was in college in the early 90s. I was in graduate school in the early 90s. I got my doctorate, though, in the 2000s. But I'm all about McDonald's and McDonald's toys. You know, I worked for McDonald's for years, and I used to have all those McDonald's Happy Meals toys. I was like 16, 15, 16. I had all Muppet Babies, all that stuff. I could be rich. I could have been rich if I would have kept it. My mother might have it in a box. I'm going to have to ask her. But I don't know if y'all remember when Batman came out. These Batman Forever mugs came out. There's Robin. Can you see Robin? It's hard to keep it steady when you look down, right? So here's Robin. Y'all, why Robin look like he got an afro? And here's Batman. And these were actually made in France, which I think is so funny. And so this is Batman Forever. I don't remember exactly what year this was. I know it was in the 90s when it came out. And it was when Alicia Silverstone was a star. Because it was like when Clueless came out. But I've seen these selling one for $5, set of 4 for $40. I saw 2 for $18. So I'm going to sell these. I'm going to start these at $16.99. And they're in great condition. They're not cracked or chipped or anything like that. And if they don't sell, I'm going to give them to my brother for Christmas because he's got a thing about superheroes. As a matter of fact, I have a big Spider-Man over there that I'm keeping for him. Right. So I've got that. Now, the other thing that I have a lot of buttons and pins, cards too. I do well with cards. I do okay with buttons too. I got this 50th anniversary Walt Disney Traders pin, Snow White. I wouldn't have picked it up except it was 50th anniversary because, like I said, I live in Florida, and these Disney Trader pins are like a dime a dozen in Florida. But because it said 50th anniversary and it was from 1987, I did pick it up. I saw them. They are going for anywhere from $6 to about $12. Like I said, they were in this lot for $11, so it didn't cost me that much. I'll have to break it down to see what it was per item. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got 14 items, so it was less. 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 items, so I mean it's less than $1 an item. So if I sell it for $9.99, I am more than making my money back. So, and I've got these friends who are crazy Disney fanatics. They're the Lemon Sisters, and they have a channel on here as well. And they're like Disney nuts. Yeah, they're crazy. They're crazy Disney nuts. And so if you're a crazy Disney nut, you should subscribe to their channel because you would really enjoy it. The Lemon Sisters. I'll put the link below. Leanne, if you watch this, you better give me some dap because I just gave you a free shout out. How about that? So anyway, no, they really do. I mean, they know a lot about Disney. If you want to plan a Disney trip, that's who you need to talk to. We live in Florida. When we plan a Disney trip, that's who we talk to. They live in Indiana. Okay, they're the ones who hit me the swag bucks, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so the next thing I got was these little miniature stitching frames from NMI. Here's one with an elephant. Here's one with a teddy bear. They're tiny too, as you can see. This one says Cool Cat. And this one says Picnic. And it has some ants on it. And they're tiny. I think they'd be great for, little kids, who are just starting to learn. And you could do as picture frames. You can do them as Christmas ornaments. But I got all 4 of these. And I saw them. They were selling between $3 and $5 individually. So I think I'm going to sell them as a lot. And I'm going to sell them for $18.99 for 4. So if I just sell one of the items, I will have more than made my money back, right? Well, except for the Holly Hobby Cup because I'm only going to sell that for $7.99. So if I sell 2 items, I'm all the way making a profit. I got this Tower of London cross stitch, very small. I saw this was selling, someone was selling this on Etsy for about $7. So I'm going to sell mine for $7.99 because I only saw one, so... yeah, $7.99. I may do $6.99. It kind of depends because I'm of the school of thought, a bird in the hand beats 2 in the bush. And I know some people will sit on stuff, they'll be like, that's long tail. If I ain't pay nothing for it, if I pay 75 cents for something and I can get 4 times my money just by selling it by $6.99, get it up and out of here, make room for something else. Unless, of course, it's really worth something. And then I got whoever this person was at this garage sale. They must have been all about London. Oh, I got 15 items because I got a dud. I'll show you my dud. That'll be the last thing I show you. And so I got these cross stitches, which are a little bit bigger. They are 4 by 3 1 inches, 1,308 stitches. So this one is Ely Cathedral. I have no idea about Ely Cathedral, and I know a decent amount about London. Not that I've ever been. The Beef Eaters. They guard the Crown Jewels Tower of London. And then this one is the Queen's Guards, the ones that wear the big furry hats. So I'm going to, these are selling, we're selling for, they have the price tag on it, £7.99, which is equivalent to 10 American dollars. So I think I'm going to sell them for $24.99 for all three. I think that's a good deal. Okay, now let me show you my how do you say pièce de résistance, and then I will show you my dud. So I got this, and when I asked her how much it was, she was like, "I'll give me $1 for it," and I was like, "Okay." And then it all came up to 11, like I said. But it's in the original box, and it says W.L. George Fine China. Now look, it got the it has the mailing receipt on it, and why does it say COD? Do y'all even, some people probably don't even know what that means. Collect on delivery. When I was a little girl, they used to do COD, which means it came to the post office, and like you would order like something off of TV, and you didn't have to pay with your credit card because it came COD. So you went to the post office and you paid the post office for whatever it is you bought. But this is from the Bradford Exchange, and it went to Mr. Tim Burns. Mr. Tim Burns, I don't know where you are. If you've gone on to be with the Lord, God bless you and your family. You know, a lot of times you don't know where this stuff came from. But I got it. It was in the original box with his name on it. It's got his address on it, like his real address on it, which I won't be showing because Mr. Tim Burns might be an old man and he might still be living there. Or Mr. Tim Burns might be like me. You know, when I was a little kid, I used to get stuff COD and not pay for it because I was a brat. You remember you used to be able to get 12 tapes for a penny? You just take the penny to the... You take the penny to the car, you picked out your 12 albums and your 12 tapes, and you mailed it off, and then they mailed it back to you. That was before they asked if you were 18, and I used to always, I want 12 tapes for a penny, and my mother would always be like, "What is this box?" And it would be this music that I had gotten for a penny. And I don't know, I asked her once, I was like, "Well, what did you do when you got the bill?" Because I didn't realize it was a bill. I thought it was just a penny. And she was like, "I told them that you were 9 years old and that I didn't authorize that and I wasn't paying for it." That's awful. But anyway, what was in the box was this this Bradford Exchange plate, Scarlett and Her Suitors from the Bradford Exchange. And it is from 1988. It was strictly limited to 150 firing days, and it is labeled 9358W. So Scarlett and Her Suitors. It's in excellent condition. It's a little dirty. It needs to be washed, which I will do. But no crazing, no cracking, no chips. Paint is in excellent condition, and gold around the rim. I usually don't fool with plates, because for a minute there I did fool with plates, and I had like 3 or 4, and 3 of them are still sitting down there. 2 of them are still sitting down there. I did sell 1 collector's plate, but the other 2 are still sitting down there in my storage. Maybe one day I'll show you how I store my stuff, but my storage thing. But I bought this because it was $1, and I thought because it was Gone with the Wind, you know, woo, those always seem to go well. And it was in the original box, COD, and it came with this certificate of authenticity, and it came with the original paperwork. And so I was like, "Oh, I'll get it. What's the worst that could happen? You know, I'll put it up for $9.99, $10.99. But they're actually going on sale without the box and without the information. They're going for like $14, $18.99, and then the one I saw didn't even have a box. It was going for $40. So I'm going to put it up for $29.99. It'll be easy to ship since it's in the original box. I'll probably just get, put some bubble wrap on it and then inside, and then put some brown wrapping paper over the box and mail it in the original box just like that. So that was my haul, and here is my dud. Whoever this person was, they was all about England. Here's my dud. This is a Harrods telephone telephone bank. Had chocolate in it at one point, and I picked it up because my thought was the last time I had a Harrods tin, I picked it up for 75 cents, 50 cents, and I sold it for $8. I forgot that I sold it at my booth. Now I don't have the booth anymore. I can't sell it on Etsy because it's nowhere near 20 years old. It's not vintage. So I'm either going to try to sell it on eBay, which I hate fooling with eBay. I know people who do great with eBay. I personally, bleh. That's not my deal. So I'll either keep it and put my little vacation money in it, or I will take it to the flea market and see if I can get $4 or $5 for it, which is highly unlikely because things at the flea market are like, you know, people won't pay $2 for stuff. Or like I said, I'll try it on eBay and see what happens. I'd like to get at least $5 for it. So maybe I'll try one of the Facebook sites or one of those. I haven't really done that. I am going to try ThredUp. I've got a pile of clothes over there because many of you know I've lost about 100 pounds. So I've got very large plus size clothes over here that need to be, something needs to be done with them. Some of them are new with tags. And so, as you can see, I keep pulling my shirt because it's just way too big. But that's, I'm going to do ThredUp. I've got a bag from them, and you send them the bag, and they put the clothes up, they sell them, and they send you the money. So, we'll see. Like I said, I don't like fooling with eBay. So, anyway, that's it. That's my haul. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, I'll be back, and maybe I'll do a sale video. It might be short. I might only have one sale. But you know what I'll do? I'll do an overall online sale. And then I'll tell you if I sold any t-shirts, what I sold on Amazon for my books. Because like I said, I'm an Amazon bookseller. And my Etsy. And then maybe it won't be so sorry. Wah, wah, wah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to speak in faith. I'm going to have a phenomenal week. And I'm going to have a phenomenal sale video. And why? Because we're blessed. Do, 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 do. Alright guys, that's it. Been on too long. Got to go give the puppy her allergy Yes. The dog is on allergy medication. What is that? I don't know. Alright. Gotta go. Love you guys. Bye-bye.